Hey friends, welcome to We're All Fine. This is Holly, and with me is my super brilliant co-host, Carly. Hi, Carly.
Hey, Holly.
So, Carly and I have been having this great conversation about specifically sexuality, fictional sexuality versus real life sexuality. And maybe sexuality isn't the word I'm looking for. Maybe it should be like sex. Fictional sex and real life sex. And this kind of came about because for those of you guys who don't know, and I don't know that many of you don't, but when I got into the voiceover universe, I started doing a lot of romance novels because I love romance novels. I really enjoy them. I like reading them. I like listening to them, the good ones. But as a voiceover person, some of the books I've picked up, some of them are amazing. And then others of them, I mean, it's just straight porn. Like it really is. It's straight porn. And it confuses me. Like some of it really confuses me.
See, I don't even mind like the straight porn ones. I just don't like the ones that take themselves too seriously.
Well, and I think that's the thing. Is like some of them do. So listeners, I'm just going to put this out here right now. We are going to be talking in depth about what's in a lot of these books and about a lot of these characters that specifically women follow. So the language that we're going to be using in this is going to be real rough. Do not listen to this with your kids in the car. Like, this would be a poor choice. So I'm warning you now, if you are sensitive to any of these spicy words, probably wait for a different time when you're like taking a bath and have candles nearby, and then you can really enjoy this episode the way you want to. Fair?
Yeah, yeah, for real. Like, we warned you. You can't be mad at us.
So this book that I just finished, it's like an hour and a half audio listen. And it's a dual narration, which means you're hearing my voice and then you're also hearing a male narrator. And the male narrators that I've been working with, I'm working with another one. These guys are like both like AFTRA, SAG, Union, like they've done a bunch of stuff. These are pros. And I'm really struggling because in the book that I just did, like the character, he does a great job, but he's got like Spanish accent and he's saying like the number of times, like it happens in so many chapters where he's like, tell me how big my cock is. And
And remember, everyone that is not us being racist or bad or anything. That is literally
what it sounds like. That is an actual line from the book. That's literally what he sounds like. Carly, as you said,
like Puss in Boots.
And it really is. It's like if Puss in Boots were like just talking dirty for a full hour and a half, and not like in a good way.
I don't know. I can't. Because, like, maybe some people have, like, the fantasy of, like, getting banged by Zorro or, like, Puss
Okay,
in
well,
Boots.
I did have a big crush on Zorro.
Did you really?
Kid.
Like the 90s Zorro movie? Like with Antonio Banderas?
No, even before that. We're talking old school. My grandmother had me watch, like I watched a lot of old TV. So I watched like Zorro, like black and white.
Oh. I mean, like, yeah, he was pretty hot. But, like, I mean, I get it, but it's like the masked, mysterious man who can, like, whisk you away and protect you from danger. Like,
I guess. In this book, it's an older woman, younger man romance. That's literally in the title. Yeah. And he just, I don't know.
That seems to be a theme here recently, and I like it. I don't know. Like that one Zac Efron movie where he's like having a relationship with his assistant's mom, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like this is something that's happened for forever, but
I think that we're seeing it more. I was actually just talking with someone about this yesterday. I get that more and more. Like I understand that dynamic more and more because I think as women get older, like we're just so tired of like dealing with all of this bullshit that comes with dating men, and trying to like make a relationship work, and like where do we stand in that one, and like am I, especially as a strong female, like am I gonna intimidate this person with my career or my confidence, or and let me be clear, I'm very happy with my partner who like encourages strength.
Yeah.
Like I love that. But I do see this a lot with my friends. I see it, oh my God, like everywhere. Even,
Absolutely.
yeah, men I've worked with. There is nothing more threatening to men than a confident woman. And I think that for a lot of women, it's so much easier than to date a younger man because for a couple of reasons. One, more than likely, you're not really looking for the relationship, right? Like you guys are both in it for the same thing.
Goods
women
and services.
Yeah. Women are at their sexual peak at that point. Men are at their sexual peak. Like it works out for everybody, right? So we're not having to delve into that tough part, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is I think that there's a little bit of the like Oedipal complex that is actually beneficial, which let me describe that. Let me break that down.
I can't wait for that. Okay.
I know. So we have this idea that like young women who date older men have daddy issues. And I'm doing quotation marks,
she
right?
is very hardcore. Yes.
Right. And it really, we know that inevitably we all, quite often, people look for a partner that, carries a lot of the traits of that parent that we also are like, that we respect, right? Or that we are looking up to.
Yeah.
And I think for younger men dating older women, that's going to be some of that like mommy issue where they are actually very comfortable with like letting her be the dominant partner, the like more in charge person, because that's the expectation, right? They've got a little bit of that, like the mommy thing going on where they're like, yeah, no, great. Like you take care of it. Yeah. And because she's not into it for the long haul necessarily,
right?
Like that works out for everybody.
Yeah.
And if they are in the long haul, then that dynamic going in is that he goes, no, my expectation is you're already going to be confident and strong and all of those things, because that's just that dynamic of like, that is an older woman who's got all of those things over me.
Right. Well, and I don't even know if it's necessarily expectation, but like you said, like if you're someone, especially a woman who has worked or who has focused on career more or who has done all of those things, and so you're a little bit, quote, quote, later in life finding your partner, why not find someone who, through, even at the worst case scenario, through fetishizing you, is turned on by a strong, capable woman, an independent breadwinner, all of those things? Like, why not be super drawn to that, as opposed to, like you said, someone who's threatened by it, or someone who's like, well, why haven't you put a man or a partner in your life on a higher like priority? And I mean, honestly, I think we all love the idea of somebody just being like at our feet, like worshiping us and loving everything about us. So if you could find someone that, like you said, is in their sexual prime while you're in your sexual prime, on top of the fact that they think it's super hot that you are a strong, badass woman who is either like a human eater at the conference table, or, or just super good at what you do, or just confident enough to get up and go to work every day. Why not come home to somebody who's like, ooh, babe, you're so hot. Love that. Let's go do it for 4 hours. Like, why wouldn't you want that? I think it's awesome.
Let me clarify. I'm not saying like dudes with mommy issues are really hot. That's not what I'm saying.
Gosh, no.
And like,
no,
that's
I don't think
horrible and god awful. But I think that dynamic of like older woman, younger man has a similar ring to it as older man, younger woman.
I think so too.
It just has a little bit of that. But in this book where that dynamic is happening, right? And we're good, that's just the like, I don't know, the sexy talk. Like he's definitely like in charge in the book, but like, I guess like I want better names and descriptions for like my lady part than like pussy. Literally the entire book. There is nothing else that it is referred to.
See, I don't like that.
Never.
And we've talked about that before. So like if you're a listener and you like it when somebody like talks about your lady garden as a pussy, can you just clarify like what about that you like? Like, don't get me wrong, I will say there is one statement in the bedroom where that word I can handle, and it's if you ask me who it belongs to in that moment, I'll be like, you get out of here, stop it, you sex demon. Like, that's great. But at the same time, that's like the only time. Like, if we're going at it and you just keep calling it that, I don't like it. I feel like I have a tail. I don't know. It just doesn't make me hot. But vagina doesn't make me hot either.
Right. No.
There's no good word for it. And here's the thing that makes me mad about this is like cock to me is such a hot word. Like that is such a hot word. Dick is like, meh. Wiener is funny.
No, that's
I'm not going to say it during
that.
sex time.
Well, those are the only two words that are used in the book to describe him as well, is cock or dick. Yeah. And that's it. That's like that as well. It just feels like there's a lack of creativity. Maybe I like to keep some of that mystery. Like I like my books when they refer to it as her center.
Ooh,
right?
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like because there's, I don't know, to me that's even more than just like the physical area. It's like it is her center. It's like what she's feeling. It's all the things, right?
I like that. But see, in a book, I would like that to read that, right? Because I hate it when they call it her womanly pearl or her lady flower. Like I say lady garden, ironically, because I just don't like it. I've also heard her love flaps or her love fold.
Okay, fold I'll take. Flaps, they're like, you know how some people feel about the word moist? Mm-hmm. One of my words is floppy.
Ooh,
and just because the visual on that is like so awful that floppy, flaps, like anything in that, I can't. Like it's just, it makes me think of just this, I don't know. It's just gross.
Yeah.
Like big dog ears.
I love that. I was going to say, like, it's cute when you talk about dog ears and you're like, ah, it's like dog ears. But
no, I like dog ears, except if that's the visual that I get of like, your labia. But you know, like I
would be okay if reading a book and somebody called it my center or her center, right? But if I'm like doing the dirty with you and you're like, oh, I'm going to get all up in your center. I don't like that. I don't want it. I don't like it.
I guess that's the thing is when you're talking about like your fictional versus real life. And when I'm on, of course, it's probably my feed because of, you know, what I look at and what I do. But so many reels I see a lot more guys now too, that are like, women, the stuff that is in your books, like we can't live up to this. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like there's nothing in my books where I'm like, this should happen. Like all of my men should have bat-like wings and, you know, like a cock that looks like 2 Coke cans stacked on top of each other. Like that is not.
No, thank you.
No, that's not like, and I'm going to tell you right now, no woman in real life is like, God, I hope that happens. Women in real life would be so scared. We would be so terrified. We would be trying to figure out how to do the emergency call on our phone. Like it's just, no.
We leave that to the professionals, like the people that have worked very hard that have a career and are able to do things like that. Not
even that,
me.
My heart hurts for them. And not even my heart, like my whole body hurts for them because that just looks physically it's just going to straight tear you apart and not in the sexy way.
Yeah. I mean, but if you like it, we're not dogging it. Like if you're like, You do you. You do you and your friends. Who knows?
Whatever. If you like it, I'm real amazed at what your physical just makeup is like. Like you've got to be some sort of like superhuman. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
The
I
thing
think
is
some
that
people are.
these books that talk about all of this are super popular.
Right.
I mean, these are huge bestsellers. This is what women are into. Like they're reading it and they're like, yes. And for those of you who are like, no, that's dirty, I don't, you lie. You lie. If you actually took time to read it, you'd be all over it.
Yep.
Yep. So why do women have this like rich fantasy life
Right.
of the man that they want, but are like in real life are like hell to the no?
So
why do we have that difference?
There's a theory. And I will say this. Unfortunately, I can't come to you with my source because I am taking a break from Audible right now. For like the next 30 days, I think. So I cannot find the title because I'm one of those people where I love the song, can't remember the title, love the book, can't remember the title. Like that is my life. I can never go up to a DJ and be like, play that song. You know the one? And I'm the same with books. I'm like, oh, let me recommend this book to you. I can tell you the whole book back to forth. And they're like, oh, who wrote it? And what's the name? And I'm like, I forgot to read that page. I don't know. It's so embarrassing. So if anybody who's listening, can remember what this title is, because I can't get into my Audible right now. I'm standing on silent protest. But there is this feminist. She is a feminist author. She also is a Christian minister. But she says we look at sex completely wrong. And I think that's probably true, especially in a lot of heterosexual scenarios, and especially when it comes to like straight vanilla sex, right? Because when you have BDSM relationships, there's a lot of communication because you recognize how easily you could cross a boundary. So you are communicating with your partner through and through what your roles are, what you're comfortable with, what you're okay with, what you're not okay with. Whereas I think we fall into the trap that like vanilla sex is safe. And so we start kissing, heavy petting, all of a sudden we're doing it, and we may not know anything about the other person's boundary. We may not know anything about who that person is core value-wise, which can be really dangerous. But so talks about that, but then also talks about the fact that women, especially within like new age feminism, we get angry with ourselves, or also people will hold it against us that we are these strong, independent women that have our own careers, that don't want to be told what to do, that are highly educated, highly capable. But then we also are super attracted to like this Gene Kelly model of the man that comes in who's strong with a strapping chin and is like, I'm going to take you away from all of this. And we like are like, oh, okay, thank you. And what it is there's a term, and it's confident masculinity is what we are actually attracted to. And the greatest example of that, Holly and I were talking about this a little bit ago, but the greatest example of that is if you look at your partner and you say, I'm going away for the weekend with my girls, and they say, oh, that's great. Like, need help packing? And they're totally cool with it. We're like, oh my God, that's so hot. Like, oh, so good. Yeah, it's great. But then at the same time, you're in a situation at a table with people, or you are uncomfortable or something, and without having to tell him, he puts his hand on your leg or defends you to someone, or is like, hey, we're getting the fuck out of here, right? Like this come to save us thing is just as hot, if not a little bit hotter, than when he's like, oh, I trust you to do you and live your life and be independent. Then what that is his masculinity and his personhood in the relationship is not dictated by you. He knows that if you go away for the weekend with your girlfriends, or if your paycheck is bigger than him, it does not affect his manhood at all. his manhood and his masculinity is not decided or dictated by anything around him. It is by him solely. And that's what we find to be like so hot. Like a man who's like, I'm going to lay you down and I'm going to F you better than anybody ever has. Or I'm going to make love to you better than anybody else has. We're like, oh my God, okay. Sounds great. But then also a man who's like, hey, I see that you had a hard day at work today. I'm going to cook dinner. Like a quote unquote female gendered task. Both of those things are super hot and super okay. Because cooking doesn't make him feminine, and laying you down and putting in the work does not make him a man. So he can be all of those things. And that's so fucking hot. Just like a woman, being submissive to your partner does not make you a woman.
Right.
But trusting within your own womanhood to allow someone else to take the lead every once in a while is okay, because that doesn't make you less or more of a woman. Because if you trust within your womanhood and you trust within your like femininity, why would you ever allow someone who is your life partner to not be a good leader? Why would you put yourself in a position where your partner is not a good leader? And how many times have we all heard, ladies, and said it, I don't want to have to tell them where I want to go to dinner. I want them to pick the place and plan the date. And that's so hot, right? That's us asking them to be the leader. That's us asking them to do these things, right? So we actually do like that. But then we also really like to be able to say, hey, I just booked us a trip to blah, 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 because I think that's what's best for us right now. And for your partner to go, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have nothing else to say. Like, yeah.
And so, yeah, it's confident masculinity. And then it's also like, some people call it like divine feminine, but that's not what we're talking about here. And I think people are using the term like divine masculine and divine feminine in really self-serving ways right now that I don't really appreciate it. So we're not going to call that, but we're just going to say like confident femininity, where you're not being controlled and submissive. When your partner says, hey, this is not cool, let's not do this. Like, I tell people all the time, like, my husband never tells me no. So when he actually says no, I listen, because he has a good fucking reason. It's not because I'm like, oh, I don't want to make him mad. If I thought I was going to make him mad by him telling me no, and then I kept doing something, I would continue doing it. The fuck? Like, no. So yeah, so it's this idea that it's okay. It's okay, because no gender role dictates who you are. No. And I think growing up, the healthiest relationships that I had the example of were not heterosexual relationships. And I think you get to see those dynamics because, like, as a kid who had a lot of LGBT people in my family growing up, I always heard because people were more comfortable asking the child questions than asking the person that was like in the same sex relationship.
That's unusual, but okay.
I don't know. I had a lot of people. I also lived in a huge dichotomy where one side of my family was like very open and was very, we true identities and stuff. And then I also had like redneck hillbillies that just didn't understand like fucking anything about anything. So I think it was like I was the closest thing to the quote unquote aliens. So they could be like, what was that like, But I would always get asked like, so who's the boy and who's the girl?
What?
All the time. Like, oh, okay, so if there's two men in the relationship, like, which one's the woman? Like, which one's the...
Are they trying to ask, like, who is the more dominant?
Exactly. That's what... But they don't have the language for it and stuff like that. And so one of the things that I think we can all learn from non-heterosexual couples are they don't fall into the gender role trap, right? Because they can't. It's not... all right, you have vagina, so you go and do the dishes and watch the kids while I go make money. Like, that's not how that works, because there's probably not a vagina in the house. or there's two vaginas. So now what do we do? Right? So I think one thing we can learn from heterosexual relationships is just playing into what you are good at, trusting your partner as an equal, because you do see better examples of confident masculinity in like male-male relationships, and you do see better examples of confident femininity. And of course, like, I think trans people too, we can learn a lot from that. Like, what are you good at? What are you interested in? What are your strong suits? And then go from there. And so yeah, so it's a really interesting book if anybody can remember it. And then also remember that your gay friends can give you way better examples of healthy womanhood and manhood and theyhood. So,
well, you know, I think this makes a lot of sense. When I think about the top selling books right now, a lot of romantasy. Like romantasy is like top of the charts everywhere right now. And they all have like common character traits of like your female protagonist is always like she's petite and beautiful, but also is a warrior fighter. You know, usually comes from a place where she's been hunting or living in dirt and forests, and you know, I have no idea how to be a girl, but also and then she ends up with a male protagonist who is this confident masculinity, like is real comfortable taking the lead, making decisions, doing the things. But when she's like, I want to do a thing, he's like, yeah, okay. And it's really like that helps me a lot, because I think there's some of this. Now, the book I talked about in the beginning, it's just straight porn, guys. Like it's not, I'm not going to say like it's going to be, you know, like great reading next to a fire to like really, you know, boost your IQ.
Right.
It's just straight porn. But like that kind of character, I don't like I don't get it, because I feel like it's just taking a lot of shortcuts. Like we're not building characters here. We're just,
yep. Well,
it's a lot of like P and V. Like that's it.
Which like I can get into, especially like not the book kind, but the movie kind of porno. Like the people that are like, I'm in it for the storyline. I'm like, I don't have time, you know? I don't.
Yeah. See, I'm not
there.
That's just not, I mean, it's okay. I'm not like, listen, I'm actually like for like professional paid union porn. I'm like all for it. Like, I think it's great. That's fantastic. There's obviously like any kind of art. There's some that's better than others.
Right.
But
yeah.
I like a lot of women, mine is not the visual style. Like I'm very big for oh my God, what is that audio app that I have to like look it up because it's so fabulous.
I know what it is. You made me download it.
Yeah, because it's really great. And now I can't. Shit.
Dipley.
Now I got to look it up. Dipley. Thank you.
Is that what it is? That is.
It is. It's
right?
Dipley. So Dipley, which was designed by women for women, and it's like audio porn with story, and it's really good. But everything is, you know, like every chapter is like 9 minutes, like 10 minutes. Like it's just like we ain't got time for this shit. Like
right.
let's
go. Mm-hmm. We're strong, independent women. Well, that's the thing. So books. My favorite romance novelist is Lisa Kleypas. I hope I'm saying her name right. And she is so good at writing the confident masculine character. Like the men are drawn to the strengths of the woman, the rough edges. It's not because she's this damsel in distress, and she doesn't write the women that way either, right? They are complex creatures because we are all complex creatures. And the men are super, like, what, again, the magic. I've talked about this book a million times. If you haven't read it, I'm now disappointed. But they were young lovers that weren't allowed to be together, and then he gets sent off, and then they come back together because he is now this ridiculously successful man who is coming to do business with the brother of the lady. And she knows it's him immediately, and they're coy with each other, and she's giving him space to do his business, which is what he's there for, and he's giving her space because he knows that like they're gonna be together. So like, do your thing, give me the cold shoulder, I don't give a fuck. They like come together, and she had this terrible accident that left her body scarred, and so she was very nervous to like engage with him, and he sees the scars and he becomes even more aroused because now she has clearly lived through things. And it's like, oh, oh, oh. Like, if there's a rap song where dude's like, show me stretch marks, I'm like, you're hot now. I didn't know you were hot before, but you're super hot now. Or like, there's an episode of Broad City where there's this guy that one of the girls is hooking up with, and he's a complete fucking moron. He's terrible. He's so bad. But they start to hook up, and he like goes under the blanket, and he was like, please tell me you don't shave. And she was like, like, and he's like, never shave. Like, right? Like a man or a person being attracted to your body as is, right? Like, whew, like tracing those stretch marks and just getting more excited, or feeling the scars on her legs in the book and being like, oh, I can't wait to hear the story. Like, oh, that's so
actually
hot.
that's a pretty regular thing, like in a lot of these books. But the other thing that I find like I'm really drawn to is like the dark romance, where you have your morally gray male character.
Yes.
And weirdly, I'm getting offers to do more and more dark romance, which I'm not sad about. Like I'm all for it. But it's weird because it's another situation where like in real life I would run so far in the other direction. But in my book life, like I'm like, oh, this is like, the guy is awful. Like he's such a dick, and like just says all the wrong things, and is like purposely just being mean because he's like, of course you get the background, like he's, you know, feeling like he doesn't deserve her. He needs to like write all of these things. And so it's like that, you know, I'm going to put gum in your hair because I care about you. Yeah. And I think as I'm talking about it, maybe that's why I like it, is because the book gives me an insight as to why all of this is happening. So I'm seeing this, like, you know, the sweet and the salty, like all of the things together versus in real life when, you know, you see someone like that and you're like, oh my God, he's an asshole. Then you can go, well, maybe deep inside, but like, you don't know. You have no idea.
It's true. Well, the problem is I've always been attracted to elitists. That's something you and I both have in common.
Same, yeah.
I know. So the idea of somebody who thinks that they're better than you, but then really, really likes you, it feels like you want something.
Yeah.
And it's a prize that like you probably don't want. And I'm going to be honest.
Every time.
Ladies and gents. Every time. The performance usually isn't as good as you assumed it was going to be with how they peacocked around. Like, yeah, no, it's terrible. And the quiet elitist is my favorite, where you know that they're an elitist because you are an elitist connoisseur at this point. But everybody around you is like, no, they're just quiet. And you're like, no, they're judgmental.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Nope. I had one of those. And then when we were all done playing Scrabble, he was like, wow, it seemed like you really enjoyed yourself. And it was probably one of the lamest performances I had ever participated in, ever. And I was like, I don't think so, friend. So just know, sometimes elitists are not the way to go, which is so funny because then I ended up with my husband, who is not an elitist at all in any way. And I actually much prefer this. This is actually like way better.
No, same. That's a lot of what I dated through college, was just the like, yeah, like I'm better than everybody, and I've chosen you.
Yep. My
like,
yeah, oh yeah.
yeah.
My
And I
favorite
was
was
like,
always the
awesome.
emotionally unavailable one. That was always like, hey, I just want to be real clear. Like, we're just, you know, hookup friends, or I'm not looking for anything serious. We can just enjoy each other's company. And then, like, 2 weeks in, you're asking me to be your girlfriend, and you've never felt this way before. And it's like, oh, I won this. But it was like a prize I didn't really want to win. My favorite ones were the ones that were like, whoa, you're in love with me, like Tool Band cover guy. And I'm like, I'm not anywhere near in love with you. Well, yeah, you are. So be careful, because you can fall into that trap with them.
So really, guys, I mean, ultimately, I think what we're trying to say to you is like, your fantasy sex life, fucking great. Like, and there's a lot that you can take from that. But also understand that, like, I think maybe we don't necessarily need to think that there's too big of a line between reality and fantasy sex life. We just need to understand where they intersect.
Yeah.
That we can say, in my fantasy sex life, I love this confident masculinity. Like, I love these things. And in real life, I want a partner who also, you know, does these spicy things, but can hopefully come up with better names for my lady guarding than, well,
yeah.
lady guarding.
Okay.
And also things that I have learned from this new book, and I just want to throw this out. And I'm sorry for any of our listeners who have this name, but like, there is no less sexy name to call out and moan than Chris.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do it like 1,000 times in this book, and it's not.
I feel like Chris, Keith, and like Kevin. Like, you never want to sound like the mom from like Home Alone when you're like doing it, you know, Kevin. Like, that's terrible.
No, that's just like, I think I just need something like it's either got to be shorter than that or longer. So like Christopher.
Yeah, Christopher would be hot.
Yeah, even Kev, like Kev, K, like something that just feels like, I don't know, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is like,
Chris,
man,
isn't it?
And yet I keep getting these. So like, if you have some tricks and tips on like how to really make that come out like real sexy, I will happily take your emails. So thanks. That'd be great. So guys, if you made it through this episode, congratulations. You did it. And you listened to all the naughty words and the bad stuff, and you just look at you like a real grown up now.
You did it. You
all
did
of us.
it.
So proud of us.
Me too.
You see, guys, like, you know, apart, we're not doing too great. But together, we're all fine. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. It's so good. All right, guys, if you want to email us, again, great names to moan out loud, you can get a hold of us at we'reallfinepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and all of the things. So, you know, spend time with us. We'd love to see you. All right, guys, hope you have a great week. We love you.